Hi out there, it's Chris Ciulla, narrator, talking to you from my home studio, my own TARDIS, for you Doctor Who fans. How are you? So, I just recorded a wonderful series for Podium Publishing called Blades VR, written by Terry Schott, wonderful author. And it was an actual blast to record. A lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of drama, wonderful themes in these books, and it's all about. It takes place in the not too distant future, and in that near future, they've developed virtual reality gaming to the point where we literally plug in, and our entire consciousness is in the game, and it is a fantasy game, not unlike Skyrim. Or Oblivion, if you guys are used to the Bethesda games, or Dungeons and Dragons. That's the main theme of this game, and wonderful themes in the book. Lots of drama, lots of action, a lot of cool stuff happens, and plenty of characters that you can attach yourself to and go on this 3-book ride with them. And also, for me personally, in order to the fact that I got this assignment and was able to narrate this was kind of a miracle, because as you can see, I'm wearing my buddy from Fallout here. As you can see that I do video game voices. I've been in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, recently Mafia 3. So I've got a bunch of credits in that world, and so and I've been I have a virtual reality system for the PlayStation in the other room, so for Skyrim. So that directly relates to this story, and so for me to be able to record this series was really like on the nose, and I had so much fun with it, because the little bit that I understand about that world, and playing MMO online with some friends that are in different parts of the country and even different countries, to be able to read this allowed me to pull from those experiences that I've had, and really give a good story tell. So I think we did a good job with it. I think you're going to really enjoy listening. And we recorded a little bit of a demo to demonstrate what you guys are going to hear in these books. So why don't we do that? We're going to cut right there to what I recorded for you, so you can see my process and how I deliver some copy. All right.
Hey, it's Chris here. How are you? We're about to record the demo for Blades VR Scout Book 1. It is book 1 of 3 books. And we're going to record the last 3 pages of the first chapter here. And so you get introduced to 2 of the major characters in the book. And a little conflict, but it's a little fun scene, so you should enjoy it. Also, we don't really address this a lot as audiobook narrators, but our jobs are dangerous. We're always having to train for proprioception, understanding where our body is in space, and our neurological mapping, as they say. Like a basketball player goes up and does a 360 dunk, and he can still maintain where he is in space and then land on his feet. We kind of have to do the same thing. Like if we're leaning a little bit too far left, a little bit too far right, you get stuck with a horizontally spiked foam pyramid, which my booth here is surrounded. I'm surrounded by foam pyramids, and it's very dangerous. No, it isn't. It's not dangerous at all. Narration's fun. It's a good job, and maybe some narrators fight crime at night, but not me. I'm in here reading and having a lot of fun. So it's not dangerous at all. Most narrators are not good athletes. So we're gonna do the demo here of the last 3 pages of chapter 1 in Scout. So let's have some fun with it. All right. And when it comes to our process as narrators, certain narrators do different things than I do. I'm going to have one of these headphones on and one off, so I can hear if I have too much of a mouth click or something, but also I'm staying kind of in space as well in the real world instead of having, when you put two of these on your head, sometimes you get a little bit too far in your head. So that's like a self-direction term. But also, and then I have on the screen here, I have my digital audio workstation, DAW, which has my sound files in it, and that's how we create a file for you guys to listen to. So let's get to it. Let's have some fun here. Chapter 1 of Scout. The wizard's apprentice, Ezraf, reached the top step of the tower, leaned against the rough stone, and panted. When he regained his breath, he stood and approached the black wooden door. "Master?" He rapped once on the door and pressed his ear to the wood. Seconds passed before he heard a muffled reply. "What?" Ezraf closed his eyes. "He's angry. Don't panic. You knew he'd be angry." "I'm terribly sorry to bother you, Master." The door groaned, and Ezraf hopped backward as it flew open. The powerful wizard stood in the middle of the room, silver runes on his black robe pulsing, indicating dark magic was present. Ebony tattoos writhed over the pale white skin of his bald skull, and crimson light beamed through the narrow slits of his eyes. I'm going to redo that last part. And crimson light beamed through the narrowed slits of his eyes. One hand stroked his short, pointed, black beard. The other extended towards Ezraf. Fingers curled into claws. His voice was low, a mix of strength and hoarseness from years of breathing in acrid smoke while chanting the dark incantations of his craft. "I told you not to interrupt me." "Yes. Was I not clear?" "You were, Master." "You forget the penalty that I promised?" "No." The wizard shook his head. "Perhaps the method of punishment was not described sufficiently." The apprentice banished his fear and met his master's gaze with a flat stare. "I must cut the middle toe of my right foot with the scissors in one stroke. The method was properly described." "Very well." The wizard shrugged. The crimson light in his eyes faded, and they returned to their natural brown color. His angry scowl transformed into what, for him, was almost a pleasant smile. "What is it, then?" "There is a visitor." "Someone approaches?" Ezra bowed his head to hide his smile. "No, he waits in the entrance below." The evil mage frowned. "That's not possible. No one can approach this tower without being detected by my ward spells." "Yet someone has." The apprentice banished the smile and looked up. "He would like to meet you." "That's not possible. Send him away." "He asked for you by name, Master." Harsh laughter. "That's also impossible. If anyone speaks my name within 100-mile radius, I know it." He glared at the apprentice. "I'm in no mood to be played with, boy. If I go downstairs and find no one there, he is. Or that you have laid a trap for me." "I'm not powerful enough to make that attempt, Master." The mage scowled. "Yes, that much is true." He pulled the hood of the dark robe over his head and pointed to a spot in the corner. "Stand there." The apprentice entered the room and stood upon a small black circle drawn on the stone floor. His skin tingled. The mage came to stand in front of the apprentice, his expression hard. "If you are lying about this, you will lose much more than a toe. Do you understand?" "Yes." The mage turned and left the room, closing the door behind him. The apprentice smiled again. Sebastian felt a calmness settle over him as the wizard approached. Numbers began to stream through his head, memories of code from long ago. We have a truck outside. Not that it matters for us. Sometimes that happens too. Okay. He took a deep breath and blinked, feeling the power all around him, waiting to be commanded. He smiled. Well. The wizard stopped a few feet in front of him and placed both hands on his hips. Who are you and what? That's my water bottle. Sometimes plastic gets pressurized in here. Who are you and what do you want? How long have you lived here? Sebastian asked. The wizard's eyes narrowed and flashed with red light. You are mad if you think I will answer a single question of yours. How dare you come into my lair and command me? He brought both hands up and began to weave them through the air in a pattern. Red light gathered around the shape he traced. The air began to hiss and crackle. Sebastian tilted his head, watching the pattern. An orange ball of light formed. The wizard made a popping noise, and the ball streaked toward Sebastian, screaming and sizzling. An instant before it made contact, Sebastian raised one hand and shook his head. No. The fireball split as if it feared touching his hand, each half dropping to the floor, but melting away before they touched the stone. Sebastian dropped his hand. The wizard looked at him, eyes wide, an expression on his face of first anger, then fear. How did you do that? Child's play. The wizard shook his head. I could have absorbed or deflected that, but the discharge would have been devastating. You sent it away. Sebastian shrugged. Are you here to kill me? If I must, but that isn't my desire. What then? I like your tower. The wizard frowned. Sebastian looked up. He didn't look up, he looked down. Sebastian looked down at his meager clothing. And your possessions. The wizard stood taller, and he laughed. I have lived 200 years. Congratulations. 2 centuries I've collected, learned, gathered. He spread his arms. Everything I am is contained in this tower. You expect me to turn my back and leave it to you? Yes. A little different character there. A little more character differentiation. Yes. Simply because you have learned how to dispel a fireball? Sebastian shrugged. You were the one impressed with what I did. If your sense of awe has already faded, that's your problem. The wizard paused. Walk away and live, or stay and die. Doesn't matter either way to me. Perhaps you will allow me to retain a few items? Pardon? So that I can defend myself while I rebuild. Sebastian sighed and shook his head. Forget it. He flicked his hand, and a shimmer of air pulsed from it. The wizard's eyes widened, and he raised his hands. Then the wave passed through him and faded. The man disappeared as if he had never been there. Sebastian stepped into the main room of the tower, nodding as he examined the various medical relics in art. Not medical, they're magical. Sebastian stepped into the main room of the tower, nodding as he examined the various magical relics and artifacts scattered about the room, which now belonged to him. This will do nicely. How about that? there's a little bit of a demo of Blades VR Scout. Hope you enjoyed it. I make a lot of mistakes. So when we have if we have a very patient engineer, sometimes they can make our job look, be, and sound really much better than it really is. Either way, hope you enjoyed it. It's launching on Tuesday. You might be watching this video on Tuesday. Listen, you won't be disappointed, I promise. Blades VR, Terry Schott, great author. Be the ball, Danny.